Well, thank you very much. I hope you see my screen already. I'm
Yes, we
gonna go
do.
on presentation mode very soon.
Yes,
So,
perfect.
hello and very nice to have you all here. From some of you, I have received a lot of questions in LinkedIn and under something that I posted a couple of weeks ago, and that's that Ingram Micro with 1,100 associates went completely digital in terms of onboarding, issuing documentation, saving documents and everything else. And that's the honest truth. This is what we did, and we signed actually the last paper document a couple of weeks ago. And I understand for a lot of us it's a risk because there are some questions mainly around how compliant it is it legal, and etc. So that all these questions I'll try to address today in a short presentation. But because I'm first time amongst you, this is about me. That's I am Eva. I'm working in Ingram for the past 9 years. Ever since we designed that company and created it, I'm the first employee. So I feel comfortable, happy, and because what this company is part of me, as I probably influenced quite a lot of the culture into it. Then I have my wonderful team of 17 people. I'll speak a little bit about it later. And this year during COVID, apart from accelerating digital, I accelerated in some areas that I never thought of. Like for instance, made a gym in the garage, you can see it, and also traveling with my daughter, who is now on this picture, particularly on electronic studies at school. So this caravan I rented, and we went all around Bulgaria. My personality type is debater, so I like a good debate, and also it's a bit related with my hobby because I like to have guests at home, talking to them, talk them to that sometimes. It can have, of course, some kind of a negative side because I can become a little bit argumentative, but that's another topic. So yeah, that's my team. I have 17 people right now working in Ingram. As I said, 1,100 associates. Everybody at the moment are at home. On the 27th of September, we are anticipating them back at least for a week in the office because as you have been asking and talking, and I've seen all the ideas around that, we feel the same. We miss each other, and especially those people that we hired completely remote through the processes that we have invented. Those people never seen the environment. And I can tell you one thing that Ingram Micro is very, very strong in is exactly the environment and the teams. So that has been a little bit missing from our spectrum, and this is what we are looking to have. So apart from 17 wonderful people, really, I have a team that probably the length of service altogether makes more than 200 years. That means they're happy. So if I sum it. So we have also a couple of processes under us, which is talent acquisition, learning development, HRBP, employer brand, and HR administration. Perhaps all of you are experiencing the same, but I would go and speak about the talent acquisition first and how that transformed overall. So our onboarding process is across Ingram Micro, all the locations. Ingram Micro is 35,000 associates across the globe, the biggest IT distributor in the world. So basically everybody are following the same process. We use JobVite. We put an RFP in JobVite that goes to a couple of approvals, and that is landing for screening. And in the screening, you can see the market. We work LinkedIn. We have refer a friend. Jobs.bg is only just to illustrate that we work with any kind of boards, etc. Our advertisements are everywhere, basically, because the company is expanding, but we also have people that are leaving from 1,100. Always someone wants to leave the company. This year we have put chatting bot is called Mia. So basically there's a few of our, not few, but like some of our job publications, you can talk with our chatbot. So that's easy, that's nice. And when you poke the bot, it's asking you a couple of simple questions about the language, your background, and your salary expectations, most importantly for the role. And it's storing that particular information, but it's not declining anyone. So we don't trust the artificial intelligence to say no to the candidates. So basically, that happens through WhatsApp. It's probably a good hint for you because in Bulgaria and across Europe, a lot of the providers of telecommunication services are having the SMS paid, and a lot of these chatbots are working with paid SMSs, and the candidates are not very happy. So we established that to go through WhatsApp because that was the only one alternative. I know that Viber probably is more useful, but yet we don't have that chatbot working with them. Interviewing, nothing special. We have interviews. Because of the volume, maybe one of the special things is that we have panel interviews. Sometimes a couple of managers are seeing one candidate and does not necessarily being seen by the manager that is going to lead that particular team. That's one of the things that we are doing for roles that are not very complicated in terms of job. And here we are on the final step where we need to onboard our associates. So how is everything working? We work with Workday. Probably you have seen it already from the organizational structure that I've shown. And Workday is creating all the data. So if you have anything in terms of payment, anything in terms of job description and stuff, we are storing there. So that one is there. And for all the roles, we have pre-designed templates. And then we have DocuSign, which is actually creating kind of like an offer, or it can create any other document, any other that we have put as a template, like maternity leaves, bank declarations. But let's focus first on the onboarding, because I know that that's the pain point. So basically, that creates the first offer. I can quickly go out here and just show you how the offer looks like. It's not here. Probably is not open, or I did open it at the end. No, anyway, so I'll try to show it in a little bit. Can't see it open yet. Yeah, so we are here. I'll come back to the presentation, and probably I'm going to come back. It's not something super special, the job offer of Ingram Micro, unless I don't send it to you guys. But anyway.
So then it becomes special and we apply for your position.
This is where it becomes special indeed. So basically everything is yes, what I can show you. I can show you my my screen. Now we're gonna see I don't have too many meetings today. But what I can show you, if I go just here and I say DocuSign, not sync, sign. Okay. So you can see that every single offer that we have sent, or any single document that we have sent, is creating hit in my mailbox to see it, how it looks like. And let's pick up this one. These are all signed, so it's not going to show anything in particular. But what is there in the envelope, you can see here. This is a job offer that we have to extend to someone. And if I click on it, and if it was really for me to sign, there would be a sign button. So I sign, and that creates like a page, a special one that goes to our associate, that he can open and see the same thing that I have signed and I have sent to him. It creates also notification from his email. And if he's using the same tools as we use, probably is going to also create a meeting. So the person that is out there, he can see and sign back to us. And then when it signs back to us, I'll go back to the presentation. When it signs back to us, what's going to happen? We're going to see that in Workday automatically. So this is the first step of the process. So that's the very first step of the process that we have when we are sending the offer and the person is actually taking the offer from our side. And then automatically the Workday is creating a contract with all the data that is collected from the offer, because in this offer we also ask the person for picture, for ID cards, etc. So he needs to attach those documents. That goes back to Workday and it creates the contract. Usually a person has 48 hours to think about it, to sign it or negotiate it, and send it back again through DocuSign. And that creates Workday entry. And here comes the thing. I have some more data, because right after I have a presentation, I'm going to use the same one, as you can imagine. So I stop you here. So that's the process that I'm just trying to describe. So here it is. We are going employee receive notification, sending automatically the contract. And then what is happening? The document is saved in personal electronic file, and the payroll providers also receive a copy of it. We work with Deloitte, so we are lucky with that. So they have a good systems, and they can get it through. So all this is now completely automatic. We see the person only to grab the laptop. So on the left-hand side of this slide, you can see how many hours we have saved and what kind of improvement that is. So basically we have 60% less paper because in the process we don't print anything. At the end, you may ask me, I am sure that question is going to come, are you keeping as per the law 5 years paper in the rack? Well, yes, we keep it a little bit. I hope we are not going to keep it forever, but for now we are printing some of the documents. Of course, we can produce an employee file printed immediately on the dot if someone comes and wants to audit that for fact. So we are saving 160 hours of our time, 20,000 sheets paper per year. So 160 because before the process was like, come in the office, read the contract together, we negotiate. People are stuck there for, let's say, about 20 minutes altogether. It's not about contract also with the offer. It was a similar type of process. Then taking everything, your equipment and everything else. So that was really pretty tough process to manage. Maybe you're gonna ask me for the labor book. Yes, we have it. This one we have. We still keep it. People need to bring it, etc. I hope we are going to have electronic book soon. By the way, we were in a meeting on with the previous cabinet, and the social minister was there. And one of my associates was asking around the labor book, and they were questions, answers about this electronic labor book. And the last question he asked, well, then why keeping a labor book? And the minister straight into his face, I'm not going to answer on provocative questions. So that's very sensitive for us. For us, it was okay. Okay, we're gonna maintain that, but it's something that we only in Bulgaria have, and most probably we're gonna say goodbye to that procedure a bit later in time. So it gets 8 clicks to get promotion finalized. Of course, this external process we use internally as well for everybody. Any annexes, promotions, etc., goes through DocuSign as well. And we believe we are 100% GDPR compliant, at least with the European consultations that we took. And also we have quite a good and robust legal team here in Bulgaria. So basically, because we are also signing a lot of contracts with vendors, let's say Apple, for instance, would never sign with any DocuSign. They would always use Apple signature. So we have that. I mean, there are certain clients or certain institutions that doesn't want to really recognize that particular document, and then probably we are facing something. But I can tell you, National Revenue Agency is accepting everything without any exception with DocuSign, so that's a good sign for now. Some banks are accepting it as well, so that's another very good sign. Any kind of kindergartens, etc. So far, so good. We don't have anything bad to say about that. So the process is going well, and I'll be very pleased if we meet again after our first audit on the process, so that I would be able to give you more heads up. We have 5 minutes, and I'll be very pleased if I can answer some questions if you have.
And you will get a lot, I'm sure. We already have two in the chat, and comment from our side about the labor book. The American Chamber of Commerce also not only does sharing of best practices and putting questions on the table and asking for others how did they address those challenges, but also does a lot of lobbying. So removal of the labor book has been recommended and continues to stay. And we do recommend that to every cabinet. It's been there for the last, I think, 8 years in the list of recommendations, and nothing happens. But the more we are vocal about it, I do hope that someday it will be removed. So you already have two questions in the chat. They're both from Denica. A question.
Can you please read them for me, because I don't see the
How
chat
do
at
you
the
keep the autonomy of the hiring manager in making the decision who to be hired, having so many decision makers? And how do you register the decision on the selected candidate in Workday or on paper?
Well, I'll start with the second one. So as I said, we use JobVite, which is linked with Workday. It's not the best because Workday is also having their own recruitment tool, but we are probably going to look for it in the path in the next couple of years. I already heard about it. The thing is that the job bite is linked with Workday. So everybody that we say approved goes directly in Workday. From Workday, all these process that I'm saying, e-admin, creating an offer and everything else, it's triggered by Workday. So it's pretty much automatic. You don't have to enter any names or anything because that comes through the recruitment process and through the documents that this person attaches in order to start to work with us. That's the first one. No, on paper, we don't store a thing, especially on the interviewing process when the interviewing process goes on. And then the decision makers. Well, that's a very good question because you know what we were thinking. Let's better try to funnel our decision makers and let's make some people truly decision makers for their teams or for their and we identify them because not everybody, it's not necessarily a manager to be a good recruiter. So we have higher grade recruitment, etc. Training, so we know who they are. And basically, what we decided, let's better give that opportunity for me rather than having many interviews and like slowing down the process, because you can imagine that these volume recruitments that we are handling every day, they can be really a mess. I see that candidate, oh, you know, it's not the right fit, but maybe in the go-to-market department is the right fit. Oh, come again. Go to the other department, then again interviewing, that 3-4 interviews, and then at the end, we've been there. And then at the end, the candidate is completely demotivated, disengaged to start with us. So we said no to this one, no to this approach. So we have these panel interviews, and every panel interview is having a decision maker. So basically, that's the one, and he's saying that's a good candidate, good match for us, etc. Of course, that was a change management of a kind, because for a team leader not to be able to choose and not to go through the recruitment process with a candidate, that was a big hiccup. But slowly, they started to trust each other and to be and to be good for one another. I see that I have 2 minutes, and if you allow me, I would like to show you something as a last slide of my presentation. So all this digitalization made it to the news, prime time in the news, I mean on the national TV. So basically I'm gonna give you a chance to look at this. It was played like 2-3 weeks ago, and it explains a little bit more about the process right here. It's 2 minutes.
If you can stop it and then share again, and when you click on share
Yeah,
button,
I know the sound, right?
You need to yes.
Yeah. Yes. Stop sharing. I saw it on the demo where I need to go, and then I forgot it. Here, right? Optimize for the motion and video, right? Share computer audio. Okay. All right, then we go.
Е виждала менеджерите си на живо.
Това ще дойде към мен, ще отиде към HR-ите и да може да ти прави заплатата, което е важно.
Но вече се познават.
Всичко протича изцяло дигитално, тъй като съм в процес на обучение, работя с колегите, споделяме екрани, тук трябва да направиш това и това.
Компанията, за която работи Екатерина, вече е с дигитална администрация.
Тук е архива. Така изглежда архив за 1100 човека служители.
Преформатирането от него 6 месеца и вече спестява десетки часове на служителите.
Много от нещата, за които преди идваха, служебни бележки, хартия друга, майчинства, всякакви видове отпуски и така нататък, трябваше да ги предават в офиса на ръка. А сега вече сме въвели системи, чрез които това може да става изцяло електронно.
Назначаването на един служител преди отнемало 42 листа хартия и забележете 9 часа. Сега този процес е сведен до само 3 листа хартия и 3 часа. За година това ще спести над 20 000 листа хартия и 160 часа за обработката на тези документи.
Заради пандемията институциите станали по-благосклонни към електронните документи и това ускорило процеса. И все пак, все още сме рекордьори по използвана хартия.
Подобно на Индия, на така развиващите се страни, ние използваме също страшно много хартия.
А докато служителите чакат да се върнат в офиса, и кафето станало дигитално.
Екипа ми са направили всеки ден в определен час да се събират така по кафе, нали, докато работим в целия процес, да може да си поговорим, да се видим, т.е. да го има и все пак контакта.
Все пак приятно е да имаме този възможност да се видиме с хората, да се запознаваме, но по-различно е, когато се виждаме лице по лице.
За новините на Нова, Благой Цицелков.
Okay, So
Well, Eva, this is yes. I'm really curious when we meet you after
yeah,
the first visit of the authorities.
yeah,
Well, you have also other questions in the chat, which we are going to
sure.
share with you. Alternatively, if for some reason we have time in the end, we will address them. But you have questions also again from Denica, from Savina, Dineva,
Yeah.
and
Now that I stop sharing, I'm going to read them in the chat, and if I can answer in the chat, that's going to be perfect.
okay, that's really great. Thank you very much for
Well,
that.
thank you for giving me opportunity. I'm really proud with what we have achieved. Probably you can hear that in my voice already, and you are one of the first audience that are a little bit lifting the curtain how the mechanism works. Thank you.
And we are also very happy that you took the invite to share, to somehow also challenge the assumptions that we are all working with. Yes,
Let's see.
for
Thank you.
for all of us who have been in HR for years. Thank you very much.